Child predators are a scourge on our community.
Tonight, it's easier than it's ever been to target children online.
42% of children have a cell phone by age 10. By 12, it's 71%. That means child predators have more access, making them more dangerous than ever. It's our top story tonight. I'm Karen Larson.
I'm Naomi Kitt. 8 accused predators were taken into custody by local, state, and federal agents in Operation Stolen Innocence. We told you about that bust last week.
And tonight we're going in depth. Who are these suspects and how are they able to contact their victims?
2 News Oklahoma's Kathy Tatum walks us through it so you know how to protect your children.
Pulled arrest documents for 6 of the 8 accused child predators. I couldn't get 2 others because one person's name hasn't been released yet, and the file for Scott Berkshire is sealed. However, we did discover that he is a former board member of Joy in the Cause, a children's charity. We reached out to it and were told Berkshire resigned in February of 2020 and has had no involvement, contact, or volunteer activities with it since his resignation.
Social media platforms allow more and more people to have access to children over the internet.
The probable cause affidavits I could get show members of the task force posing as teens and were contacted by the suspects. Much of the information in the affidavits is sexually explicit.
Samuel Gile and Wesley Rohr are in the Osage County Jail. Gile is charged with lewd or indecent proposals or acts to a child, soliciting a minor for indecent exposure or obscene material, and violation of Oklahoma's statute via computer. His affidavit shows he used social media to initiate a sexual conversation with an undercover officer posing as a 14-year-old girl, and sent her what he claimed to be himself in sexually explicit photos. Rohr faces charges of showing obscene material to a minor, lewd or indecent acts of a child under 16, and violation of Oklahoma's statute via computer. His affidavit shows he used Facebook to reach out to an undercover officer posing as a 14-year-old girl. He requested a nude photo and showed interest in meeting up with her for sex in his car. George Mathau and Willie Porter are in the Mays County Jail. Mathau is charged with lewd molestation, soliciting sexual conduct or communications with a minor, and violation of Oklahoma's statute via computers. His affidavit shows him using the screen name Kevin to message a member of the task force posing as a 14-year-old girl. His messages over the course of 3 days asked her, is her body well developed? And he asked for a picture. He asked several times, was she alone? And indicated he wanted to go see her. And could they meet in a private place? He was arrested after driving to the address where she said she lived in Pryor. Willie Porter is charged with lewd and indecent acts to a child under 16. His affidavit shows he used social media to direct message an undercover officer pretending to be a 14-year-old girl, asking, have you had any sexual relations before? And later asking, would you be okay with a threesome? Danny Newton and Jeffrey Klain face federal charges of attempted coercion and enticement. Klain's affidavit shows he used an online account to attempt to meet up with an undercover officer posing as a 14-year-old boy for sexual intercourse. Newton's affidavit showed he used Facebook to contact an undercover officer pretending to be a 14-year-old girl, and that he sent her photos and asked to see pictures of her. He also asked if she could text rather than use Facebook messages. He also wanted to meet her in person, offering to bring her chips and a Dr. Pepper. These arrests are not the end of the task force investigation.
They continue tirelessly around the clock.
To protect your children from online predators, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Oklahoma strongly encourages parents and caregivers to let children know the dangers of the internet and let them know you're willing to listen to their concerns about people who may reach out to them digitally.
And I also want parents to know who your children are talking to and on what social media platforms, whether it's video game chat rooms, TikTok, Instagram. Where are they going? Who are they talking to? And why are they talking to them?
Task force members tell us no child is immune from the threat of child predators on the internet. These crimes cross all racial, social, economic, and gender lines. And to be especially aware that
predators are equal opportunity criminals.
Kathy Tatum, 2 News Oklahoma.